Welcome into Pick Six. I'm Tatum Everett here alongside voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, and Gabe Henderson here in the middle of off season. And just because it's off season doesn't mean that we weren't going to do another show of Pick Six presented by KFAN, or that we didn't get great questions from you guys via Twitter. So we're going to just dive right on in, Paul, and start with you with our number one question that we do every single time. What is the best thing you saw this weekend?
Edina High School, class of 2016, Tommy Doyle, Bills, go crazy. I mean, when you're beaten down by the New England Patriots, as long as the Buffalo Bills have been, look at that. Tommy Doyle, class of 2016, Edina High School. It's an offensive lineman catching Josh Allen's 5th touchdown pass. Didn't need to do it, but he did it, and he fed the rookie offensive lineman, Tommy Doyle. Have I told you he went to Edina High School? I thought that was phenomenal. Well done.
Well done. We love a big man touchdown, that's for sure. Gabe, you got 30 seconds. What's the best thing you saw this weekend?
Well, since PA is on the unconventional touchdown, I'm going to go number 87, Kansas City Chiefs, Travis Kelce, first passing touchdown of his career to Byron Pringle. It was a touchdown that you never see coming from a tight end in the NFL, especially the swaggiest tight end, in my opinion. Look at this. Fake. Pat Mahomes is open, but he told him not to read that, Byron Pringle. And the thing is right here, Travis Kelce, he didn't have to step up in the pocket. When he did his interview post-game, he said, yeah, I just wanted to add a couple extra steps in there and actually look like I was playing quarterback. But this is so unconventional. I think he's the first tight end ever to have a receiving touchdown and a passing touchdown in a playoff game in NFL history. Well done, Travis Kelce.
And let's not forget, it's always good when Pringle can chip in.
It always makes me think of, or he looked more like Tim Tebow back in his day. It was almost the recollection of a jump pass. But my best thing that I saw this weekend, the Bengals winning their first playoff game in 31 years. Gabe wasn't even on planet Earth yet. I was a toddler. PA wasn't working for the Vikings. That was a whole different time. The joke all week long, no one has ever sent a text message about a Bengals playoff win because text messaging wasn't even around the last time Cincinnati won a playoff game. So go off, Joe Burrow. Yeah. Congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals, but a tough test up next when they have to go to Nashville to face those Tennessee Titans and the return of Derrick Henry. So
yeah, but you know what?
I think they'll be fine.
Hey, the best thing I heard all day was the shocking revelation that you tied something to an LSU Tiger.
I know.
I mean,
it really is.
Are you kidding me?
Were you shocked that was the best thing I saw?
Whoa!
You got to root for someone in the playoffs, Paul.
Yeah, I got.
I'm surprised you didn't say Jamar Chase, but
I left
Burrow would do.
For now. All right, let's go to question number 2. These are your fan questions you submitted on Twitter. Our first one is from Shane Corrigan. He says, do the wild card games affect our decision in head coach or GM at all? PA, 30 seconds.
Well, the answer is yes, because you just know that there are individuals involved with teams that played wild card weekend and advanced that this team is interested in. And D'Amico Ryans, the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, that's a name that's kind of popped into this thing late. Anybody check that 49ers defense and how it dominated a wonderful Dallas offense long enough to get to the finish line first? So D'Amico Ryans et al., they're continuing, and now the interviewing time, it gets a little more dicey with these teams playing.
I think to your point, PA, you get up into 2 days to coaches that are actually playing right now to be able to interview them. And then after January 30th, you can't interview any coach that is playing in the playoffs until after the season. So keep winning.
Gotta fit them in, right?
Keep winning, get the opportunity, and make the most of it.
For sure. Well, Gabe, we're going to put you on the spot again here with question number 3. Any inside info on what the GM head coach interview process looks like? Skull Toast wants to know what questions are asked, things like that.
Skull Toast, my guy. The biggest part in this GM process, just from knowing people that's been NFL GMs and also knowing people that has been in the media room interviewing the NFL GM, it is a big who you are type of interview. And you do that all with the coach, with the philosophy of, okay, what is it like to win in the NFL? And we got you in the room because we haven't won. So what can you do to help us get there from a coaching perspective, a free agent perspective, a draft perspective, culture perspective? But while doing so, you have to do that and articulate yourself in a free-flowing way, but not with just anybody, with the Wilfs right in front of your face on a Zoom screen that only lasts 30 seconds. I mean, 2 hours of your time.
Yeah, and the Vikings organization has been very transparent with who they've interviewed so far for both the GM and the head coaching candidate. So I like this next question, PA. This is for you, question number 4. Who do you think is the most interesting interviewee so far, from Evan Clark?
Evan, thank you. It absolutely is Philadelphia Eagles Director of Operations, Miss Catherine Raichie, the first female in the history of the National Football League interviewed for a general manager's job. Now, this is not for show, this is for dough. And this young lady has earned the right to be in this position because I know people who are close to the Philadelphia Eagles, and she comes very, very highly touted, a Montreal native, very, very smart. And by the way, if you're interested in Doug Peterson as your coach, you probably can ask her a couple of questions about that too. So, Catherine Raichie, win or lose, well done.
All right, Gabe, we're going to take a little pivot from the GM head coach search with our next question from Joe Chirolo. Which Vikings free agents would you like to see back and why?
Well, I'll give you 2. 1, Patrick Peterson. 2, Tyler Conklin, TC83. Patrick Peterson, you can always say, well, if we never see him in another Vikings uniform, this play right here is how he's solidified wherever he goes next year. I think if you're a GM, this is the first guy you target. Hey, you ended well. We want to continue to see you build on that momentum going to the future. And then Tyler Conklin, a guy that only had 193 yards in 2020, almost 600 yards this year. Tight end 1, stepped up when he needed to without Irv Smith Jr., without a tight end 3 defined in this offense. Tyler Conklin, you got to go after him and make him a Viking for another 2 or 3 seasons.
It's not just the free agents we're going to talk about today either. We're going to talk a little bit of draft thanks to our last question from Terry L. Smallwood Jr. He says, what are the Vikings' top 3 positions of need in the draft? And thanks. So he's also very polite. But the first, we were going to actually break this one down 1 each. So top 3 will be 1 each. PA, you go first with your top pick.
Right. You know, I'd go with offensive line, and I guess that's kind of the right of winter/early spring here in the cornfields. But with the progress shown at the left tackle spot by Christian Darrisaw, O'Neal establishing himself as absolutely one of the very best right tackles in the NFL. And how about Ezra Cleveland? 2 years playing out of position, really jumped up beautifully. Just keep going with offensive line. Get that sucker set with some more interior beef, and I think that'll help you move the ball better.
All right, Gabe.
Well,
Position for you.
I'm going to go to the other side of the ball. I got to go cornerback. There was a time this year where we didn't know who was going to be our starting cornerback because P2 was out, and then Cameron Dantzler, you didn't know what was going on with him. So you have to address that early and often. Well, early, and I wouldn't say often, but early in this draft this year. We don't know what that's going to look like, but still, with this cornerback draft being so heavy this year, you got so many guys that's played big-time football. I think a lot of those guys can be on this team this year. And you look, I mean, we did make some plays in the red zone. You got Chris Boyd stepping up and a few other guys that did so, but still, you need that one playmaker outside of Patrick Peterson if they bring him back next season.
That's one of the most interesting positions here on the Vikings roster currently. As the final top 3 position of need for the Vikings, I'm going to go with linebacker, and mainly because of the free agents that are coming up in March, Nick Vigil, but most importantly, Anthony Barr. You see those 3 veterans in there with alongside Eric Kendricks being the only one who would potentially return if not re-signed. And so the others are not re-signed. So for me, that's a big area of concern considering depth. I think the defense in general needs more depth. And so the draft is one place you can go, obviously, to find that. And the Vikings have the 12th overall pick in the first round this year after all is said and done.
Hey, to your linebacker take, and we saw a Blake Lynch highlight. With all due respect, I'm just tired of hearing Blake Lynch is too small to play 50, 60, 65 snaps a game. Every time Blake Lynch played for the Minnesota Vikings, he dominated. I mean, I don't care who it was against or what the circumstances were. I'm a Blake Lynch fan. I'd like to see what they do with him.
Yes, a lot of things to be seen, a lot of things to be determined, as there's so much change this offseason here within the Vikings organization. But one thing that has not changed is the great analysis from these 2 guys, Gabe Henderson, Paul Allen. I'm Tatum Everett, and this is this week's edition of Pick 6.